Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mr. Lopez saying a big hello. This video is going to guide you through Wednesday's live streaming session where we discussed how to use Google Slides to create a presentation with some simple animation. And these will be the basic skills you'll need. As you play with it more, you will start developing the more advanced skills as you move along. But for today, these will be the basics just like we covered on Wednesday. So the first thing you need to do is either go to your PowerPoint program on your laptop or computers at home. If you don't have PowerPoint installed in one of those, go to your parents' Google account and you'll see this. This happens to be mine for my YouTube channel. And to start up the Google Slides, you go to this section right here. They call this the waffle. Click on the waffle, scroll down and look for Google Slides, and it'll say Slides. Double click on that. And before we start, we're going to go ahead and make sure we understand a few things. I am using a mouse right now, so some of the skills I'll be doing is either going to be left click or right click. And you should have those two functions on a laptop or your personal computer at home. So it's either right click, left click, hold, and drag. And I'll go over those in a few minutes. We don't need to do the tour. You go to a blank presentation. Okay, so it's gonna start like this, just like we did with um, your PowerPoint program. But we don't want to use this one right now. This one we'll use in the future when we start doing your personal narratives. It'll be like a personal notebook. For today, we're not going to be doing personal notebooks. We're talking about animation with Google Slides, so we're gonna hold off on that. So in order for me to do the Google Slides, I'm going to go to Layout first. I want a blank one, and I'm going to click on the blank one. Click on that one. Now I have a blank slide here, and here it is right now. So now we're going to start with a few of the skills here. So we're going to go through and use shapes. We're going to use the lines. And once we get through those, you'll be able to see you have insert images here. We're not going to worry about that right now. You can add comments, and all of these we'll be looking at as we go along and get a little bit more advanced. So first of all, shapes. Click on your right click, left click on the shapes, and you'll see all these shapes, arrows, the callouts. These are the thought bubbles we had yesterday. You also have the equation symbols there that we usually use for math. So simple pictures can be done with shapes, and I'm going to do the exact same thing I did yesterday. So I'm going to create the little person. So I'll start with this circle. I left click, drag it down, and move it and create it like this. Okay. I'm going to elongate it a little bit so it looks like a head. Now once I left click on it, I'll see those arrows, and I can move it around. And I'm going to position it right here. Now I'm going to create the body. Go back to the shapes. Get the rectangle. Left click and drag. Okay. Left click and move it. Now I need to make the legs. I'm going to copy this one. Control copy. Then I'm going to insert it. Control V. And it's a duplicate, just like Lena told us yesterday. Now I'm going to make them a little bit skinnier so they look like legs. And see how these arrows on everything I'm using, I'm left clicking. Left click, drag. Left click, drag. Okay, I'm good with that. I'm going to copy that one, so I'm going to left click it. Once I see this here, I'm going to Control C to copy it, and then Control V to make a copy. I left click on it. Now I can drag it where I want it, and I'm going to put it right there. So now I have the head, the body, and the legs. Now to make the arms, I'm going to go to the lines. The lines is right here. And you have lines, arrows, elbow connector, curve connector, and we'll go through some of these right now. And when you play with these, you'll be able to see how these works. So line, now I have that crosshairs right here. So wherever I want to start, I would left click and drag. Left click and drag. Once I get the position that I want it, see how I can move it here? I'm holding the left click button down and I'm dragging it. So I'm gonna put it right there. Okay. I'm gonna copy it, Control C. I'm gonna paste it, Control V. And now I'm gonna move it over here. Oops. Now I'm gonna move it over here and I'm gonna rotate it. See what I'm doing? And I'm left clicking and rotating it. Left click and hold it down and drag. It's a lot easier to use the mouse. Now I got the arms, okay? And like we did yesterday with Lena's, if you want to start adding color, you do it now because you're going to duplicate the sign. So if you want color here, you left click on it, get the symbol here, and then the little bucket shows up here. So you left click on it and find a color for it. I'm going to pick this one here. For the body, he's going to be wearing, I'm going to left click. Let's go with the blue shirt and let's go with green pants. I don't know, just making them look a little bit unusual. Okay. And everything that I'm doing here, I'm left clicking. So, and notice the bucket's not here. The bucket's not here until I click on something that needs to be filled. And this is the fill color here. Okay. So I got my person here. Now I'm going to show you how to look at some of these other lines. We're going to look at the curved line here. Once I click on the curved line, I have my crosshairs. I go where I want to start it. I left click and see how I'm dragging it. I wanted to stop there. I'll stop. I'll continue to drag it. I want to stop there and I'll click on it. Once I left click on it, that's the ending point, and then I drag it again where I want it and I'll stop. I'll left click and it'll stop there, and then I'll move it down and I'll left click and I have it there. And it shows up right there. But notice when I have this, I'm going to move this down. I'm going to left click and move it down a little so it's not this shape. This curve is not overlapping with this shape, because if it does, when I start clicking on this one, the computer's going to get confused and start to highlight all of this. So I got if I want to fill this up, I can left click. Now I can go into the fill color and let's go with the green color. And notice how it colored the green. Now I can elongate it if I want, left click. See how it moves up? Okay, now I can move. I'm going to left click, drag across, highlight my person. Now I'm going to move this person. And this is the issue that we had because it's overlapping. Let me move them down a little bit. Left click, drag it, highlight the person, move them up a little bit. Move them up. Left click on my landscape. Now I'm going to elongate it a little bit so that it's not interfering with this one. So I'm good here. I'm good here. Okay. So we have this one here. We'll do an arrow coming this way. And I'll go to my shapes again. And it has arrows. And I want an arrow starting from the right hand side. So I'm going to click on that. Notice I have my crosshairs. I'm going to left click on it. And there's my arrow. And I can drag it all I want by keeping the left button on the mouse held down and then elongate it as much as I want. So I'm going to keep it right here. Okay. I'm going to left click and drag it out of the picture screen so only the tip is showing. And I'm going to fill this up. I'm going to go with, well, first of all, I have to tell it. Well, let me move it over here. Okay, it looks like the internet connection just went out right now. So let me go ahead and pause this for now. Okay, so we're going back and looking at the arrow here. I want to add some color to the arrow, so I'm going to left click on it, get it highlighted, go to my fill button here, and let's go with red. So now it's red. And I'm going to drag, left click, drag it. So only the very tip is showing. And I'm going to start moving that. Now, even though it shows all in our screen here, look at the slide right here. The slide ends right here. So when I start the presentation or moving it, it's only going to show the tip right here. So let's see. I have this. If you wanted to add, oh, I believe Ayan wanted to add some rain. So I'm going to show you how we do the rain. I'm going to go into the shapes. I'm sorry, into the lines. What happened to the lines? Right here. And I'm going to go with the curve so I can make my cloud. So I click on the curve. I have my crosshairs and I'm going to left click, drag it, stop it there, click on it, and it'll stop there, and I'll go around, drop it there, left click, and every time I left click on it, it makes a point. I left click, that's the stopping point, and left click, and doesn't look much like a cloud, but get the idea. Okay, there's my cloud. I'm going to color it. Let's go with a blue. Well, let's go with a darker one because it's going to rain. There's my, now I can move it anywhere I want. In other lessons, we're going to be looking at uploading pictures. But for now, we're looking at animation. So this is how you would do, make a cloud. Okay, so now we have the basics of what we want. Now the key here is to duplicate this slide. That's pretty much after we duplicate the slides, we're going to be repeating the steps and just moving different pieces that we want to move from the pictures. So we go to the slide over here, we put a cursor over it, we right click on it, this will pop up, and you scroll down to duplicate side. So when you duplicate the side, it shows up here, and here it is. Now we'll start with the animation here. Now we'll start moving it here. Okay, so I'm going to move this person here. I'm going to left click, drag it across, highlight the person. It's highlighted. Now with my arrow buttons, I'm going to move it. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to left click on my arrow. I'm going to move it with my left arrow button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The cloud, I have the cloud here. Now I need to make some raindrops for it. So I'm going to go to the shapes. And I'm going to go to my circles here. And I'm just going to make one right now. Okay. And you can make it any way you want. Here's a raindrop. Okay, you can make it larger, smaller, elongate it. Okay. Skinnier. Okay, there's a raindrop there. I'm going to color it blue. It's a big raindrop. Left click, blue. There's my raindrops. And if I wanted more, I can highlight it, control copy, paste it, control V, 1, 2, 3. And these are my raindrops. Now I left click and left click and drag it where I want it. Left click, drag it where I want it. Left click, drag it where I want it. Okay, so now we have that set. Okay, so now we're good. We go again to the slide on the left. We right click on it, duplicate the slide. Now we start moving it again. Left click, drag it, get the person in. Now I'm going to move them across. 1, 2, 3, 4. Left click on my arrow, move it across. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to move each one of these individually. I left click on it, and then I move it down. 1, 2. Left click, highlight it, move it down. 1, 2, 3. Left click, move it down. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm counting just to get an idea of what I'm doing here. Left click, move it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I started with that. I go back to my slide. Left click, duplicate the slide, and I just keep repeating it. Right, left click, drag it. Oops. This. left click, hold on, left click, drag the person, and move it across. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit my arrow, left click, drag it across. 1, 2, 3, 4. Start moving my raindrops down. 2, left click, move it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left click, move it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left click, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Duplicate my slide. Right click, duplicate the slide. Left click over here, drag it, move my person, go to my arrow, left click, highlight it, move it across with my arrows, and I'm using my arrows now. I'm going to move my raindrops. Left click, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just keep repeating the steps over and over until you get the desired presentation that you want. Now we can use this for a lot of applications, but right now you need to learn the skills. If you want to put a little call out here, you go to your shapes section here and you go to callouts. And here are all of your thought bubbles here. And we can use this one here. Left click and it'll be right here. Put it over his head. Okay. Notice there's a color on it right now and we can drag it. You want it white, so left click, white. Okay. And it's a little bit over his head. So we go there. Now to put text in it, you just double click on it, double click with the left button, and you'll see the cursor pop up. And it's on Arial here. We could change the font, and we know what font we want. But here you can, I'll give you some leeway. You can play with the fonts if you want, okay? But I'm going to stick to Times New Roman. And he's going to say, oh, and you put one letter at a time. Stop there. Go back over here. Right click, duplicate the slide. Okay. Double click on the thought bubble, put the apostrophe S, and put an R. Move the person here. Left click, highlight the person, move them across. 1, 2, 3, 4. Left click on the arrow, move it across. 1, 2. Oops. Move it across. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's put the raindrops going down finally. Okay, so at this point, the steps are repeated. Our next lesson will include adding pictures, adding comments, adding voice recordings of yourselves, adding music, adding videos, and we'll start expanding on our knowledge. And if you take a look at your slides over here on the left hand side, you'll start seeing it visually move. So we can look at that. I'll double click on the thought bubble and put raining. Okay. And that's it. I'll end it here. The steps will be repeated. And if we go to present, click on it, and I'm just going to left click. Oh, you want to go from the beginning? Left click, and you should see the animation starting. Left, 1, 2, 3. Let's see how it's moving. Try it again. Now, of course, I only have 6 slides, and it goes backwards, right? And you see how the rain is doing, Ayan? And those are the basics for creating animation using Google Slides. If you have any other questions, be sure to ask them during our live sessions tomorrow morning. And like I said, I will start creating some more videos to show you how we can make your presentations for your knowledge that you have in science, how to use this to create a virtual notebook. So how to use this to create a presentation where you can discuss the GT challenge that you have. The possibilities are endless, but you have to learn the basics. As we work with this more, you'll start to play around with some of these, and the more you play with it, the better you'll be. Okay, so don't be afraid to make a mistake. Don't be afraid to go out and try this. Now, before I go, I'm going to save this go to left click, file, and I'm going to go and save it. So I'm going to go to share. I want to share this with myself. You can do this also. Click on share, and I'm going to title it, oops, Google Slides Animation 101. I put 101 because that's what you use at the college level when you have an entry level course. It's 101. Like if it's your first year as a freshman in college, it'll be like English 101. So that's why I'm going to name it, because this is the first one. I'm going to click on save. Okay. Now I can start sharing it with others. Uh, when you do this, you can put my email address. My email address is alopez@ouracademy.org. This will be the easiest way for you to share it with me, so you don't have to upload it via RedWeb. You don't have to take a picture of it anymore. So when you start turning in personal narratives or any other assignment that I ask for you to use Google Slides for, that's the way we're going to share it from now on. Okay, and you only share it with me. Okay, so you click on that, you put my name, you can put a note, please find the assignment, oops, assignment you asked for. Okay, you put your name on it, click on send, and now it was shared with me. Okay, so that's the easiest way for you to do it. I will get an email notification when you do that, and it'll be ready for me to review, and then I could go back and forth and having a discussion with you using this one. Okay, so that's how we do this. Again, it's the basics of Google Slides using animation. Please be looking for additional science and personal skills with the internet on a weekly basis, and I will let you know when I have some created. Okay, well, thanks a lot for listening, and please go back and review it if you have any questions.